Good morning, everyone. My name is Julius, and I'll be your host this morning. We're just going to give it another 5 more minutes to allow other people to join, and we're going to start. We're sorry, we apologize about that. Just bear with us a little bit.
No, you don't care. It's not better. Or is it better? It's just not.
Better, it's just not.
Fixed.
Pledging the points which you or you work towards getting there. And most of you told that this year will have a lot of
Good morning, everyone. We're now going to start our program. My name is Chinsisi Kazua, and I'm the Malawi Young Leaders Climate Change Project Officer. I'm just going to briefly switch on my video for introduction, and I'll switch it off again because my connection isn't very good this morning. Welcome to our event. The Chief Executive Officer of the Malawi-Scotland Partnership, Ms. Stella Masangano, Mr. Evans Njewa, Chief Environmental Officer of the Environmental Affairs Department, Mr. Julius Ngoma from ISONECC, representatives from the National Planning Commission, the Steering Committee, young leaders present, the Malawi-Scotland Partnership staff, and the media present. Welcome all to the end of phase 1 advocacy event. Today we'll be celebrating our event under the theme Enhancing Youth Capacity and Leadership for Climate Action. And also today is the 22nd of April, which marks the celebration of our Earth. It's Earth Day today. And this year's theme is Restore Our World, which focuses on restoring our world through natural processes and green technology and innovation. So welcome all to the event. I ask that you feel free. We have the chat box open. We request that you all switch off your mics, and please switch on your mic at each and like the few minutes, the few seconds that you presenting, so that people can familiarize themselves with you. I'd like to invite Toera Kamanga to give us a word of prayer. Toera, would you please open with a word of prayer?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, let us all pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for making it possible for us to have this meeting presently. Dear God, we thank you so much for giving us the capacity, the knowledge, and the skills individually to be working together towards the goodwill to sustain the environment that you gave us. Dear Lord, today we celebrate the skills, the knowledge, and the capacity that you have given unto us. It is our prayer, dear God, that are going to be with us during this meeting so that it should be as productive as possible. We have prayed all this for your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that, Stora. And I forgot to mention, but please make the introductions in the chat as well, just so we know who everybody here is. Please state your name and the organization you're working for, if you're working for an organization. If you're just a young person who's joined us, also please just state where you're coming from, just so we know for better interaction when the time comes. Now I'd like to invite the Malawi-Scotland Partnership Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Stella Masangano, for the opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Am I clear, HCC? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this function, for the event that has been organized. Let me take this opportunity to recognize our guest of honor, the director from Environmental Affairs, and all the young leaders that are here to participate in this event. Today is all smiles here at Malawi-Scotland Partnership, and also in the houses of our members who are here with us to celebrate the 3 years of executing climate change justice, a project that was convinced 3 years ago to implement and also to empower the young leaders in the area of climate change. We celebrate not because we've managed to achieve everything, but we celebrate because our youth have been empowered, they have been equipped to speak and also to execute ideas that mitigate the impact of climate change. Let me take this opportunity to thank the Malawi government through the Department of Environmental Affairs for creating an enabling environment that has facilitated smooth and quality delivery of our project. We also are grateful for this financial support that has been offered from the Scottish government. It has trickled down, and also we've managed to equip the youth and also work with a number of partners. We are also grateful for the technical support that the 2050 group has been giving the team of Malawi-Scotland Partnership and its partners to ensure that we deliver the project, we maximize and gain high quality results. Issues of climate change should not be taken as a simple matter, but it's a huge responsibility for us. And by equipping the young people, we are able to create intergeneration justice. You educate a youth who is 20 years today, in the next 20 years, that particular youth will be 40 years. So if that particular youth has the knowledge on how to tackle issues of climate change, then we are set to mitigate the impact. Therefore, this project has been a ground for us to identify best practices. We believe that those best practices will be scaled up. Our partners will take them and also ensure that others who have not participated in the project will also learn from us, learn from the youth that are implementing the project in various areas here in Malawi. Thank you so much. We are grateful that the youth has been at the forefront of delivering this project. And I'm grateful that today we should celebrate. We should not only celebrate that we are here together, but we should celebrate that today onwards, we are going to take whatever we've learned and put it on the ground to ensure that we have a great impact and we are mitigating the impact of climate change. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our moderator. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Stella. And now I'd like to invite Hendricks Nkhata, the project coordinator, to deliver to give us the review of the project. We can't hear you, Hendricks. No, I can't. Hendricks, are you there? No. Hendricks? Okay. Apologies, Hendricks is experiencing some technical difficulties, so we'll try for him to give his speech through my phone, and hopefully you can all hear him.
Hello, can I be heard?
I can hear you. Can you hear him?
Hello?
Yes, go on, Hendricks.
Okay, they can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm experiencing network challenges, but I'll try to make sure that you hear what the project is all about. In given time, just to give the highlights of this project, Malawi Climate Leaders Project. September, and reaching this far, it has reached 3 years, whereby we have been involving the youth, age range of 18 to 35 from both countries. So the whole objective of this project was to equip young Malawians with knowledge and skills necessary to take a leading role in tackling issues of climate change at the personal, community, and the national level. Also, the project empowers young Malawians to be confident, capable leaders who are prepared to influence policy, engage their communities, and develop initiatives that will create long-lasting change towards a sustainable future for Malawi. In total, we have 15 climate reasons, 28 are males and 22 are females across Malawi. This project, we are landing concurrently with our colleagues 2050 climate group in Scotland. I have to start by thanking the government of Scotland for the financial support that have rendered into this project to make sure that we engage the youth fully and the youth get the knowledge necessary to equip the issues of climate change. At the same time, the Malawi government for integrated environment through environmental affairs department research throughout the project, giving us the technical guidance on how we can go about this project. We have 3 thematic areas that we are trying to address, and the number 1 was engagement and education. On this one, our main outcome was to make sure that the Malawian young leaders have increased understanding of local and global climate change challenges and solutions. So once the project has done on this one is that number one, it has increased engagement with young leaders and better dissemination of climate information, challenges and solutions. And also, the project has tried to make sure that young leaders are able to interpret and utilize climate information in decision making. The activities which the project has been doing under this systematic area of engagement and education is that the project managed to have 15 climate leaders, and also the project has managed to do the introductory training. We had a number of trainings to make sure that the new information about climate change, that what is it that they can do. And also the project has equipped the young leaders to be able to make some action plans for which have been implemented in their various localities. The project has also managed to demand creating workshops whereby the proposed action plans were fully done so that whenever somebody has chosen, for example, making a briquette, then he or she has to be groomed on that one and be able to do a good job. And at the same time, also knowledge partnerships, because the youth are also partners with other organizations. Our second thematic area was that of empowerment. And on this one, our main outcome is that of making Malawian young leaders feel confident and equipped with the skills to take action and have the ability to influence decisions and change in their communities and government bodies. So under this thematic area, we have three outputs that we are trying to address. And that is number one, making sure that young leaders have the skills and relationships established to get regionally based climate change initiatives. And also young leaders to be confident in their ability to influence local and national government bodies and equal opportunities in their localities. And the second one was that of making young leaders develop local partnerships and networking opportunities. Now, the activities which the project has been doing on this, that of having regional workshops whereby Malawi is having the regions and all the youth in each region were put together to be grouped on this, and also demand-driven workshops were also done at the regional level. Advocacy training, whereby the issues that affect the climate system environment to be advocated with the relevant bodies, and also stakeholder engagement with some stakeholders that we are working with, for example, National Network on Climate Change, Malawi Creation Care Network, Action Aid, Total Land Care, Green Vision, just to mention a few. And on the same thematic of empowerment, the project made sure that the youth organizations closer to where they are coming from. The third thematic area which this project has been trying to address is that of connection. Our main outcome on this one was that of making sure that the Scottish young leaders better understand the Malawian concept of climate justice and recognize the different approaches to climate action. Remember that this project will have young leaders from Scotland and young leaders from Malawi, and the project made sure that the two interact and share experiences on how issues of climate change are being done in the respective countries. So on this one, we have the outcome that of knowledge exchange and events here in Scotland for all young leaders and leaders network. At one point before the COVID situation, this year, some team went to Scotland to appreciate about the work there, and also some Scottish team came to Malawi to appreciate the work that has been done here. And also in the second year, that was last year, end of last year, some team went again to Scotland but thereafter we experienced the COVID situation, which made sure that most of the meetings were done virtually. That's what we're doing now. And the other output was that of increased stakeholder engagement and dissemination of Malawian climate leaders project in Scotland. By now, most Scottish youth are able to know some of the Malawian climate leaders here in Malawi, and the same also applies to climate leaders in Malawi, knowing Scottish youth in Scotland. So on this one, we had the activities that of national directorate trips were done, and also young leaders development programs being done in both countries, and also Scottish partnership members here in Malawi and those in Scotland. And also we're able to attend Malawian cross-party group for both countries, and also improvement on communication channels, so that what is happening here has to be known in Scotland, and what is happening in Scotland, we should also be on the look. On the same connection, we also have this outcome whereby we are trying to make sure that the Malawi Scotland partnership and 2050 climate group continue to build a strong partnership, facilitating the creation of intercultural connections focused on co-mentoring and knowledge sharing between young leaders in Malawi and Scotland. These two organizations were in the forefront, giving managerial guidance to the project team to make sure that the project achieves its intended objectives. So here in Malawi, we have Malawi Scotland Partnership, and Scotland we have 2050 Climate Group. This project has fully developed the young leaders, and the young leaders in Malawi at this point, they have gained adequate skills, as you'll be seeing in the upcoming videos, whereby they have documented some of the work they have been doing. And now that this is ending, we just hope that some partners will be able to make sure that they carry up some of the activities which the young leaders are doing. We appreciate the work of the young leaders. Some were into small-scale biogas production, which are going to see, and that will be able to alleviate issues of the burning the trees for charcoal, because once fully utilized, people will be able to be using this one. We are also into waste management, whereby the youth were able to participate in all national activities like that of prevention initiative on national cleanup exercise, where our president launched last year in December, of which we participated, and we have been doing that up to this time, making sure that the youth are also taking center stage on issues of waste management and making sure that our surroundings are clean. We are also into tree planting exercises, which is government is being advocating and doing as Malawi Scotland Partnership. Through this project, the youth have been fully into hands, and we have been planting trees all over Malawi in our respective districts. And the youth have also been into climate smart agriculture, whereby they are promoting the organic manure from the waste, and this will be able to help the food security. In short, this project was done alone. I should not preempt everything, as you'll be able to see some of the ways through the videos that are going to be showcased in here. And we got to hope that the skills which the young leaders have gained, it will not stop as the project is phasing, but rather it will be starting point for you. They'll continue leading on issues of climate change. We tell that now, as we're focusing towards COP26, which is happening in Scotland, we hope the youth will also be fully involved to make sure that they also contribute on some of the ways towards the land. I'm wishing you all the best as the meeting continues, and stay on as more things are coming. Thank you. Over to you, Jensen.
Thank you very much, Hendricks. I know a lot of people were not able to hear him because of the poor quality and also because of the network issues. So we really apologize about that. And I do hope you managed to get some parts of that. I would like to now call upon Sarah Knight from the 2050 Climate Group, our partner organization in Scotland.
Hi, Chinsisi. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for organising the event today. I wanted to say a quick thank you to MaSP for being such a great partnership over the last 3 years. It's been an honour to work with you, both on behalf of 2050 Climate Group and from a personal level as well. We've had a great journey with some challenges along the way, in which everyone involved has been great in overcoming together. We feel that our collaboration with the 2050 Climate Group and MaSP is quite exemplar of how South-North collaboration and the power of networks and peer-to-peer connections can be in pushing the boundaries of climate change and climate action. I've been reflecting a bit on how the project and the partnership has grown over the last 3 years, and I hope that this is a partnership that we could keep going in some capacity in the future. I must say that the Malawi young leaders have been really, really inspiring. It's both inspired myself and other Scottish young leaders on seeing all the really innovative ideas, the energy the young leaders bring, and the amount of hard work that goes into their respective climate actions. It's allowed the Scottish young leaders to be more engaged in the topic of climate justice, for example, and learning directly from Malawi on this topic. This has included being involved in online events, direct peer-to-peer connections, and in the past, when we were allowed to travel before the pandemic, we also did lots of cultural and climate knowledge learning through our cultural exchanges. And I just want to also speak directly to the Malawi young leaders who are online and say a huge congratulations to you all. The commitments and energy and skills and knowledge you've all shown through the Malawi Climate Leaders Project is really, really going to help push the youth leaders movement, both in Malawi and also in Scotland. And I think it goes to show the success of this with the recent high-level recognition of both the project, but also many of the young leaders. This has been recognised by the UK government with videos around COP26 being shared on their Facebook pages and other media platforms. We've had loads of connections and photos and tweets, etc., from Minister Tembo, which really shows both the hard work of the MaSP staff, but also really shows how successful the young leaders have been in their climate actions. So please do keep in touch, and I look forward to seeing more photos of the lovely Malawi Climate Leader green t-shirts, photos on social media. So that's all I've got to say today. But yeah, big congratulations and thank you to the MaSP team.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Sorry, I was talking to myself for a bit there. I'd forgotten that I was on mute. So I know we've been hearing a lot about the work that the Malawi young leaders have been doing, and I won't delay. I was going to talk a little bit about them, but due to time and whatnot, I'm just going to go ahead and play them, and I hope you guys like them. And then I think later on, we're going to have a little bit more interaction. So let me share my screen.
to the northern region of Malawi, another dome of climate change young leaders under Malawi-Scotland partnership. Like any other regions, young leaders in this region are up to their game in contributing to Sustainable Development Goal number 13, which calls for urgent action towards climate change. From advocacy to action-based solutions, the young leaders have tended to be models of many. One among many is Christina Moyo. This young lady from Ikweneni has managed to establish a woodlot to recover the lost glory of Chomfazi Hill. She is doing it with the capacity acquired from Malawi-Scotland partnership. Imagine, she is leading a 12-member club. She has planted 300 program trees, about 100 bamboo trees, and over 2,000 pine trees. She is not only planting, but she has gone an extra mile to take care of the trees. It's not only her. Let us appreciate another genius.
I was capacitated by Malawi-Scotland partnership that I managed to have an orchard. This is part of me. It's my enterprise, and I've benefited a lot from this. At first, when I started, I didn't realize the potential that the orchard has. But now, I've realized and made a lot of profits. This year, I've managed to sell about 130 orchard trees, which has benefited me and my organization about 1.3 million Malawi kwacha. So I really appreciate for the project that Malawi-Scotland partnership has taken.
Marco Jr. is no ordinary youth from Zuzu. He is a co-owner of Green Ventures, a firm that turns waste to organic fertilizer under the brand Mayu. With the amazing idea, every year attracts bumper youths and helps other farmers to attain the lost glory. Marco is very visionary, and it is his wish that fellow youths could be spending most of their time finding solutions to the country's hiccups. Climate change education is another way. That is the reason Joanna Ziwa, a teacher at Katoto Secondary School, is leading her students to join the fight.
As a young leader of Malawi-Scotland partnership, I've benefited a lot. I've been equipped with communication skills, advocacy skills, and with that, I've been able to encourage more students to join the club so that they can participate in the activities of the clubs. So in these clubs, we plant trees, we take care of these trees, and also we make sure that the surrounding is clean. We have dustbins outside each classroom to make sure that littering is done in the bins. And at the same time, my other role is to educate the students so that they can change their mindset towards the environment.
Thanks be to Climate Change Young Leaders Project under Malawi-Scotland partnership for a new hope in the fight against climate change has been attained.
Together, we can make a difference.
I'm Deb Samiva, a climate change leader, programs coordinator for Tikapi Youth Organization, which is based in Mwanza. Together with my friends, Mada and Blessings, we are into climate action, where we're producing biogas. At the same time, we're also making briquettes. Apart from that, we are planting trees. So as young people, feel like as a country, it's relying much on charcoal and firewood, and came up with another alternative source of energy, which is biogas, which we produce. Of course, we are on mukuyambira nkhani yonse ndithu yopanga biogas wathu. So ngati mmene mumu ndithu timayikamo zinthu zosiyanasiyana. Apa mukuona ndithu pali chipayipi chimene chindifida yathu chimene timakhala tikulowesamo ndithu zosiyanasiyana. Mmene mumu malowa zambatatesi, kautangi, zimene zili ndowe ndithu za ng'ombe, mumalowa ndithu zinyama zosiyanasiyana komanso zosalira zakudya. Zinthu zimene zili zikalowa mmene mumu timathamo cholenga choti ziyambe kuolerana bwinobwino. Gasi akamba kuchitika mkati umumu amayenera kuti atuluke pa pipe mukuiona apayi. Ndi apa tinayapanga ndithu ka control kathu kuti tizitha kumatseka bwinobwino komanso kumatsegula kuti nthawi imene biogas uja wachitikamo mkatimo akhoza kudusa m'mapayipi. Komatu tikanchosa gasi kumene kuku amayenera ndithu aduse mapayipi mmene mukuonera mpaka kukafika kumachubu. Machubu awa timalumikiza ngati storage yathu. So timayenera kuti gasi wathu wachitika umu bwinobwino achoke kumene kuku apite malo amene tikuyenera tikatani tikansunge chifukwa tikufuna kuti phika kwathu amene kugwisa ntchito kwathu kupitirire. So mmene muchiona chinthu ichi ndi cha simple chosalonga ndalama zambiri. Tichitulamu chabe chimene timachidziwa umumu tikapangamo feed zinthu zicha sizitenga nthawi ndiye kuti within a week 2 weeks makhala kuti zamba kuchitika ndithu mumu si zinthu zoti zimatenga masiku ochuluka. Okay, chifukwa choti gas amene tikupanga produce mu sitimapanga purify sitinankonze kuti azikhala mauji osiyanasiyana koma nakhala kuti wapangidwa purify akhoza kugwira ntchito zosiyanasiyana koma pakadali pano pande kuti akhoza kugwira ntchito yongophikira koma nakhala kuti wakonzedwa bwinobwino ndiye kuti akhoza kugwiritsidwa ntchito imene kuotcherera.
My name is Madase Ibeni. I'm the climate change officer for Tikambe Youth Organization. Based in Mwanza. Like my friend David said, we've been working on alternative energy technologies, biogas and briquettes. So on briquettes, we've been selling briquettes in small bags, small 25 kg bags across the districts. In several families have adopted the technology. They've tried to cook on briquettes and they like them. We also mobilized women into an SME that they called to an SME. So we trained them in production of briquettes and they are well aware of the technology and we're only looking for funds to upskill the project and give them the right equipment to produce and sell the briquettes. So my briquettes magala ndithu magala timapangira zinyanala ngati zakumunda zisononko ngati utuchi mati kwaika mbalo muja amayaka kuphika simani bwinobwino ngati mene amakhalira makala tengo wake so chimozi poza ngati mene amakhalira makala amatusa mpweya oyipa. So fwali ma briquette awa amakhala kuti tapangira zinthu zosiyanasiyana taziwocha okwanira amatusa utsi ochepa kusiyana ndi mene amatulutsira makala and in return amathandiza kuti anthu asadwale matenda.
Zanga ndine tiyamikira palamula kuno mudzi mwa Chigolosa ndifuna ndichire umboni pa ubwino wa mabriquettes. Mabriquettes wandabwino kwambiri tikafananiza ndi makala chifukwa amalimba pa moto komanso utsi wake umasiyana ndi makala yenye aja kutengera kuti sumapereka phuma mmene liwadzikira makala ayi komanso komatu ukayika pa moto payi ndithu umayiwala kuti bweranso ndochizezera chifukwa ilo zimazipira pa moto.
So pang'ono tikufuna kuti industry ya briquette ikule tizipanga makala ndikumagulitsa malo mwa makala amenewo azikhala matumba ama briquette akupita ku plant yawo mitengo yathu chilengedwe yacho chitakusamalika anthu moyo wawo utakusungika bwino. So I'm really passionate about alternative energy. I believe it is the key element for solving the energy crisis that's in the country, the energy gap that is readily evident. Some people are skeptical about trying new things, people are skeptical about trying new things, but some are really excited about our briquettes. They think they're a really sustainable solution to cooking. As you can see, providing our briquettes will provide a cheaper and a more sustainable solution for families.
Can we have a video from Kondwani, please? The final video. Kondwani, your video is on mute.
or cleaning exercises. So I thought about doing something. I'm a climate change leader from Zimbabwe, and my main focus on climate change issues is on energy. My project is named Light Library. Of the project of climate change, I was focusing on tree planting, but then after some time, I thought that everyone was doing tree planting or cleaning exercises, so I thought about doing something different, something that would have a really great impact. So I thought about why not venturing into the clean energy movement. So being an educationist, I thought about bringing the idea of synthesis of energy to because in Malawi, not most people have access to electrical energy. So, like for most students, they do study using 19 sources of energy, for example, candles or kerosene lamps. So these have an impact on the outcome because, like for example, the light of the candle can cause strain to the eyes. So the students don't have much time to study because they now start having pain in their eyes that causes them not to study for longer. So that has an effect on their performance in school. So I thought about bringing this idea of Light Library, where I brought a few solar lamps at CCYL in Malawi. So I put the lamps in the library for students to be borrowing. So the idea is to curb the use of 19 sources of energy and also to help promote education. So some of the students here who have benefited from the project are going to speak on how the project has helped them.
My name is Edward Teacher and climate change leader. In this project that has been implemented by Malawi's corporate partnership has helped me a lot to have a deep understanding about climate change and at the same time to be an active young person to do a number of interventions to address and also mitigate the impact of change. We know that Malawi has built a deep understanding in us. They have imparted knowledge in us about climate change. It has helped so that we should understand at the same time we should have a lot an insight whereby we should do a number of activities, including the briquette making, we talk of the organic fertilizer, we talk of climate change awareness activities, whereby we support by using the social medias. We understand that some of these interventions whereby we do the briquette making It's one of the cooking initiative, one of the cooking energy. Instead of using the charcoal, we use the briquettes. Instead of using the firewood, we use the briquette. For instance, right now I'm using the briquettes because I understand that it's a source of energy. It can turn into a reliable source of energy instead of relying on the firewood at the same time, instead of relying on the charcoal. And at the same time, we talk of organic fertilizer production. It's one of the fertilizers that can help to improve the fertility of the soil. At the same time, to help farmers to be productive farming. We've seen that one of the contributing factors in deforestation is poverty. So if farmers can be productive by using this organic fertilizer, it is going to help them instead of focusing into the businesses whereby they can be venture into businesses at the same time, like venturing into charcoal businesses. They can turn away from that, whereby they will have enough food in the families, they can feed their own families, they can feed their children. In so doing, because it's going to help to reduce the number of families, the number of individuals that can venture into the deforestation acts. And apart from that, we also went through the same project to do with advocacy, because we understand that advocacy, it is a tool of communication, it is a tool to change. So through the knowledge that we learned through this project, it has helped us a lot, especially I myself as a young leader, to advocate for exchange, whereby the young people, we created a platform to advocate for the government, at the same time advocate to the authorities, so that the voices of the young people, the voices of the youth, in terms of youth participation in climate change action, can also increase. Thank you so much.
So those were our videos, and I hope you had a chance to get a glimpse of what the project has been doing and what the young people have been doing. The project is a skills development project, but we've been amazed and inspired by how much the young leaders have been able to do with the knowledge and the resources that the little resources they've gotten from the project. So congratulations, all of you, for all that you have achieved. I am very proud of you. And before I go into a lot of other unnecessary comments, I'd like to invite Magdalene Memory Lungu to speak on behalf of the young leaders.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Oh, I can hear you.
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Magdalene Memory Lungu. I'm one of the climate change young leaders based in Lilongwe. So I'm here to just give a brief overview of the project and how it has helped us as young leaders. So to begin with, the project of climate change young leaders was implemented back in 2018, and a lot of change has been witnessed over the 3 years of the project. So the main purpose of the project was to build a team of young people as leaders, to lead fellow youth in raising awareness on issues of climate change, as well as to advocate for climate justice. So the essence of all this is to help Malawi as a country to be resilient, as well as to adapt to impacts of climate change. So a lot of young leaders across Malawi have been doing various activities to achieve the stated purpose, like you've seen in the videos. So there are young leaders who are doing advocacy on radio and TV programs. Some are into tree planting and waste management. Some are running great innovations in clean energy, like production of biogas. Some are making picture frames and bags, all this from waste. So as you can see, young people are really doing interesting and helpful activities towards the transformation of our country, Malawi. So in order to achieve all this, we had to undergo training. So the trainings have really helped us to improve our leadership skills, communication skills, as well as organization skills. Like for example, in my case, when I first joined the project in 2018 and attended the first training, all I had in mind was that we'd be taught what to do, or maybe we'd be working in an office. But then I was surprised to learn that we're supposed to be working in our communities and that we have to come up with work plans on the activities that we're going to do in our communities in order to bring the change that we want to see. So this was really hard for me as I had no idea what I would do, let alone how to approach people in my community. But the trainings really helped me to move out of my comfort zone and act accordingly. So right now I'm running a project on Solar Light Library, and I'm happy to say that there's a positive outcome. Another thing is that the project has given us a great platform to express ourselves on issues about climate change. I'm pretty sure most of us here would not be doing anything on climate change if it wasn't for the project. So I would say the project was like a wake-up call for us all to go out there and speak and act change. Moving forward, in phase 2, we're looking forward to a lot more exciting activities. So we're really prepared to continue with the activities that we've been doing over the past 3 years. And also we'd like to see people getting connected to various organizations in the area that they're focusing on issues of climate change. Like, for example, if someone is doing something in waste management, maybe they can be connected to the right organization so that they should also learn from them and also the organization to learn from the young leaders so that together they can produce great outcomes. And lastly, I'd like to thank the Malawi Scotland Partnership for giving us this opportunity to express ourselves and for believing in us to carry this responsibility as agents of change. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much for that memory. And on a personal level, it's really amazing to hear you say that and to see the growth in a lot of you and in the activities that you carried out. I keep saying I started on this project with you, and I didn't even know as much about climate change as I do now. So I've been learning along with you, and it's been inspiring to see how much you guys have done and what you've achieved. The theme for today is enhancing youth capacity and leadership for climate action, which fits best, I think, for our project because we wanted a different kind of perspective. We wanted to let young people, the youth, to take the lead and to not confine them to certain activities. So we've been very liberal in just letting or giving the opportunity to the young people to decide for themselves. And you can see that there's so many different activities that have been done, from waste management to tree planting to energy and education. So I think that comes from letting young people have the autonomy to decide, and for us to support them on that has been very important to us. So it's amazing for me to see the diversity that the project has produced. Without going on and on, I'd now like to invite Jennifer Mjueni from the National Planning Committee to talk to us about the Malawi 2063.
Thank you very much, Ncc. I hope I am audible to all.
Yes, you are.
Okay, and I would also like to share my screen if that's going to be possible. I have a short presentation.
Please do. Sorry, I was talking to myself again.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so thank you once again, Ncc, and it's an honor to be here. And first, I'd like to convey the Commission's congratulations to the Malawi Partnership, as well as the 2050 Climate Group for the successful completion of this phase of the Young Leaders Climate Change Project. It shows that there's a lot being done, and it is very encouraging to see that the youth are actually leading in a lot of these initiatives, which is exactly what we are also on about here at the Commission. So let me give you sort of like a brief background outline of the Malawi 2063, which, as you know, is now the successor to the Vision 2020, which had been the blueprint for the development of this country for the past 20 years. So having come to the year 2020 last year, obviously the vision expired and there was need. And as we have been mandated by an act of parliament, we are responsible for the development of long-term, but also medium-term national development plans. So following on that mandate, we have come up with the Malawi 2063, which is now looking at what plans as a country in terms of development we should be focusing on for the next 43 years. So the outline of the presentation is a brief overview of the Malawi 2063. And this also defines the Malawi we want by the year 2063. And I'll briefly touch on the 10-year implementation plan. Obviously, looking at 2063, that's 43 years. And we can't be talking of a plan that will, take into account all those 43 years. So we have broken down the vision into 10-year implementation plans. So I'll also just briefly highlight on that. And then specifically for this presentation, I will look at environmental sustainability within the Malawi 2063. And then finally, how the youth can work in partnership with implementers in making the aspirations of the Malawi 2063 come to fruition. So first of all, let me just give you a reflection. And this is a quote which, unfortunately, I was not able to know the source. But it says, if our youth arise and act, they have the strength to generate a huge transformation in society. So that's a quote that I picked up, which I think relates very well to what we are trying to do here during this event. Matthew.
Yes, sir.
Your mic is on.
Yeah.
And there's some background noise.
There's
background noise coming from your mic. Okay, so briefly, an overview of the Malawi 2063. It's a youth-centric vision, which means that we have really put the youth in the forefront in terms of the development of the vision itself. And it defines an inclusive wealth creation and self-reliance agenda. The overall resolution is for Malawi to be an inclusively wealthy and self-reliant, industrialized upper middle income country by the year 2063. So we are looking at becoming economically independent, meaning that we will be able by then to fund our own development needs and not rely too much on external assistance. It also requires a belief in our own abilities, so calling for mindset change so that the population becomes more productive, innovative, and competitive, and make sure that things are done. the challenge in most cases has been the issue of implementation. Plans are made, but nothing gets done. So now we're saying, can we do things differently? Let's get things done. Malawi 2063 anchored on 3 pillars, and these are agricultural productivity and commercialization, industrialization, and urbanization. But then we are saying, in order for all these 3 to happen, there needs to be an enabling environment. And the pillars are going to be catalyzed by 7 enablers. And these are mindset change, effective governance systems and institutions, enhanced public sector performance, private sector dynamism, human capital development, economic infrastructure, and environmental sustainability. So there could be the question, why 2063? Why not 2050? Why not 2030? 2063, what is the significance? So in our thinking, in 2063, Malawi will have attained 100 years of self-governance. So now we want to be talking about economic independence in 2063. So the 100 years is I think a milestone in the progression of our country. And we thought that by 100 years, we should be able to reflect and see what kind of achievements we have made. And not only politically, but more importantly, in terms of now economic development. And secondly, we are talking of alignment, and alignment not only of national plans and policies, we are also talking of alignment in terms of, other international or continental plans. And in this regard, the African Union's Agenda 2063 was one of the plans that we looked at, and we felt that the Malawi 2063, if it's aligned to the continental agenda, then it shows that we are serious about, issues of alignment. So what is the Malawi we want by 2063? An inclusively wealthy and self-reliant, industrialized upper middle income country, a vibrant knowledge-based economy, a strong manufacturing industry, productive, commercially vibrant agriculture and mining sectors, world-class urban centers and tourism hubs across the country, a united, peaceful, patriotic, and proud people that believe in our own abilities, that is hardworking, that has a disdain for handouts, that is very active in the building of our nation. Effective governance systems and institutions that are able to hold leaders to account, a high-performing and professional public service that is not rife with corruption and inefficiencies, a dynamic and vibrant private sector that is able to drive the economy, but also support the public service, the government, a globally competitive economic infrastructure, a globally competitive and highly motivated human resource, and an environmentally sustainable economy. So this is the Malawi that we want to see by 2063. So I mentioned of a 10-year implementation plan, which is now breaking down the 43 years into 10-year plans that will now include prioritized strategies and interventions that will be guided by the pillars and enablers, the pillars and enablers that I mentioned initially. So within this 10-year implementation plan, there will also be a summary of 5-year quick wins, and 5-year quick wins, I will give a bit more explanation into that in later slides, as well as the game-changer interventions and flagship projects that will be identified within the 10-year implementation plan. The 10-year implementation plan also contains information to stakeholders on the expected outcomes and the roles expected of them. So obviously it's not just a one-man's job. There are a lot of different stakeholders and partners that will be expected to work in collaboration in making sure that the right outcomes are achieved. So the plan will also define the roles expected of each stakeholder. It will also contain cost estimates of the projects that are contained within the plan. It will also provide guidance for interventions, resource mobilization for the plan, but it will also provide a framework for systematic M&E programs and projects. As you may be aware, one of the main challenges of the Vision 2020 had been the lack of an M&E system within it, meaning that since it was launched until it expired, there was no M&E, there was no assessment, there were no milestones within it. So with the Malawi 2063, it will provide a clear framework for systematic M&E for all the projects and programs contained. So for the 5-year quick wins, how have we determined what are 5-year quick wins? So as you know, there are already ongoing projects, and I think another challenge that had been faced by the Vision 2020 was the fact that with every coming political regime, there could be changes in terms of project implementation. So you would find that a project that is already underway will be stopped midway, and another one begins elsewhere, meaning that we were losing out on projects that were going to be impactful because projects were dropped on merely political reasons and not necessarily on the economic impact that the project will have on a society. So the 5-year quick wins will look at the interventions that are already in the pipeline or ongoing right now, so that these are scaled up or completed within the next 5 years. And it will also look at interventions that have ready finance commitments. So you may be aware of the PSIP, which is the government directory of projects that should be implemented within a specified period of time, and that have already been allocated financing. So projects within the PSIP that have ready financing will have to be a 5-year quick win. And then thirdly, interventions that have political will. These are projects that you probably hear the president pronounce at a political podium or in his speeches. If it's something that he directs, then that will have to also be included as a quick win project. And for game changers, these are interventions that significantly alter the way things are done in Anguilla and enabler and can transform the landscape of So in terms of how we have the two documents have come about, we have had to we have done extensive consultations for the development of the vision. Some of you may have been part of that. As you know, because of the COVID situation, we're not able to do face-to-face or physical meetings, physical consultations. But these were done through, we called for submissions in form of writing, in emails, letters. We had radio and TV consultations. We had virtual surveys, and basically, mostly we use the virtual means for the stakeholder consultations, but where we could manage smaller groups, we also did face-to-face consultations, especially in the local areas, in the most remote areas, where we could sit with a group of chiefs or a group of community leaders. We were able to do physical consultations with those. And then the plan has also taken advantage of the consultations for the MGDS review, and also the review of the SDGs, which has also informed the priority interventions within the Malawi 2063. We have also used ministerial statements and other literature, such as national development plans for other countries, to borrow a leaf from what has worked for them and to see if that can also work for us. So basically, that's how we have come up with the Malawi 2063. And enabler number 7, as I mentioned, is environmental sustainability. And I just wanted to zero in on this one for purposes of this presentation. And the objective of this enabler is to promote sustainable development with clean, secure environment. And the focus areas are 4, and these are ecosystem conservation, basically embracing ecosystem-based approaches in managing the environment with harmonized legislation. Secondly, we're looking at waste management and green economy, so that there is a more efficient waste disposal, treatment and recycling, air and water pollution management, and prudent water resource management. We are also looking at environment and climate change financing, thereby mitigating and adapting to effects of climate change. And then finally, natural disasters and climate adversity preparedness. So making sure that there is disaster preparedness, mitigation, and adaptation. So I wanted just to flag this out because we are still in the process of trying to identify flagship projects. And for this particular enabler, we are still, in the process. And I thought that this would be a good opportunity for us to also seek your views in terms of what would you think are flagship projects or game changers in this particular enabler. So this is the criteria for identifying flagship projects. And I will share this presentation, and hopefully we can get some feedback later on through email. I'll also share my email on what would probably qualify as flagship projects or game changers within the environmental sustainability.
Okay.
And then looking at the role of the youth in the Malawi 2063, as I mentioned, it's a youth-centric vision. The youth are the majority of this country's population. And we had tried as much as possible to involve the youth at all levels of the formulation of the vision. So within the National Planning Commission, we have a youth co-advisory panel, which consists of young people from different sectors. It is chaired by Mr. Ashan Kosam, co-chaired by Ashan Kosam and Madali Sojipepa. Some of you may be familiar with them. And they have been very instrumental in making sure that issues of the youth are incorporated in the vision. So we had also done a youth arts and essay competition at the beginning, basically asking for the youth to give us what aspirations they have for their country in terms of development within the next 43 years. So we had a very big response to these 2 competitions. And you may be happy to know that one of the winning works is actually the cover of the Malawi 2063 It was an artwork done by a university student. And so it has now ended up being the cover of the Malawi 2063. And we're also looking at the youth to be champions, especially in issues of mindset change. We expect that you, the youth, should be in the forefront in advocating for, values, value change. Let's look at hardworking spirit. Let's look at patriotism. Let's look at, hating handouts and believing in ourselves, believing in the abilities of us as Malawians, as being capable as any other nation out there who is doing better than us, that we can also do the same. We can also achieve great things. And for the older generation, that mindset may not be so easy to change right now. So we're looking at the youth as being champions in terms of leading this mindset change agenda. We have been working with some celebrities like Lulu and Pixie in terms of also trying to get the message out there. Pixie did our theme song for the launch of the vision, and maybe some of you have heard it. It's quite a nice tune, actually. And Lulu has been part of our, panel discussions, where he has also, really been involved in trying to bring out that message of mindset change. Thirdly, obviously, the youth will be the implementers of this vision. So we need to develop in you the right skill set. So looking at curriculum changes to address the needs of what the Malawi 2063 is looking at within the pillars and enablers, that will be your role to make sure that you gain the right skills so that you are able to fully contribute to the success of the Malawi 2063. The innovations that we have seen here, that is actually very, very hard, very encouraging to see that, there are youth out there that are doing, massive things, great things for this nation that, should not just stop at that level, but let's, bring them out like the way you are doing now so that we are able to, scale them up. Let's take them to other regions. Let's teach other youth how to do what you are doing so that it's not just a project being done by, one particular individual. But if it's working where you are doing it, why don't we take it to other regions of the country? So the commission is here to facilitate that. Let's scale those things up. Let's showcase them. Let's make them, because it also gives other youth the right, encouragement to say that it really can be done. If others are doing it, we can also do it. So those innovations are very critical in terms of, motivating others to also do their own innovations, but also to adopt.
Jennifer, we lost you.
Yes, I was muted, I think. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, basically also looking at issues of accountability. So the youth are the ones that need to ensure that the right things are being done. If we're saying within the next 5 years we're going to do this and it hasn't been done, then ask the questions, why is this not being done? The political scene, on the political scene, the youth have actually been very instrumental in making, in making great changes in this country. We can see from the last elections, the demonstrations were led by the youth. If we can do the same, but on issues of development, then you are able to hold leaders accountable to the promises that they make. And in terms of environmental sustainability, be the advocates, lead by example. Those videos, very encouraging, you know, planting trees, waste disposal, and, you know, issues of innovation, as I already mentioned, in terms of the environment and climate change issues. So basically, I think those are the main roles that the youth will play, but obviously, we want the youth to be in the forefront in terms of the implementation process. And okay, my screen is not moving. Okay, so I think that's my last slide. And just to say that the Malawi we want is possible, and you have to be part of the history in creating it more precious than our children are the children of our children. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for that, Jennifer, and thank you for the very elaborate presentation. And I hope that has given us all some thinking points and how we can apply our work and moving forward, and how to contribute to the Malawi 2063. Just a quick switch up in the program. We'll have Julius Ngoma from ISONECC next. And he's going to be talking to us about climate finance.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you. Apologies, I have to go into another session where I'm also requested to give a presentation, but thank you so much, MaSP, for entrusting me with this responsibility to talk to the young people. By the way, I'm also, I've gone through the same process of, you know, graduating from a young person to this moment where I've been learning a lot from interaction from other, you know, with other stakeholders, the different partnerships, but also the networks that we've been leading, but also other, you know, key professionals who have been in the field. So I think it's a good starting point just to encourage the fellow young people to actually start from somewhere, learning from those that have been involved in this field, but also the professionals. And also don't stop there, but try as much as possible to get connected, as one of the speakers indicated, so to those that are in the profession, so that you can still learn more, you can advance your own projects that you've started, and through different support systems that are there. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I won't take much of your time, because I was tasked to just talk about climate financing, which it's a very, very broad topic, but I don't know whether I can share my slides, but is it okay? Can you see? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Julius. Yes, you can share your screen.
All right, so it's just 2 or 3 slides that I wanted to project here. I hope you can see my slide.
Yes, we can.
Okay, fine, thank you. So let me proceed. I'll just take maybe 5 to 10 minutes, because as I indicated, this is a very, very broad topic, but for this time, I think we can just start maybe linking the issue of climate change and support, but also maybe just talking about climate justice, because I also learned about it. One of the speakers was talking about that, and then linking to how best we want to manage climate change. So climate finance broadly is linked to, if we talk about climate change management, is linked to one of the means or the greater means of implementation, which means whatever we can do here, whether developing projects, we have ideas that we want to execute, and all those climate actions and ambitions to be realized. I think there has to be something that is actually driving that at the end of the day. So in the context of means of implementation, then we have climate finance as one of those that will enable you to come, to move ahead in terms of realizing your ambition. So if we talk about climate finance in a broad context, then it refers to finance, it refers to the local, national, or even transnational financing, which may be drawn from either public or private or any other alternative sources of financing to support climate change action. So these have to be either from the public or the private or any other innovative source that you think is out there. I'm emphasizing on this because as the young people, as we are graduating from this maybe program and also wanting to still pursue, climate action, then we need to know that there are all these sources of, climate finance that we can engage in. But more importantly, as we are trying to also grow our ambition, then we have to be able to innovate and maybe find other means of how we can support our own climate action. So, but broadly, you'd have the grants, climate finance being provided as in form of grants. I think I'll talk of some of the sources of financing, and you can also access climate finance at different levels in form of concessional loans. There are so many banks that are there providing financing in form of that is supporting climate action, but also as countries can access climate finance through the official development assistance. There are so many programs that are being supported by different, bilateral donors. For example, the one that have been, supporting us as young people to go through this program, it might qualify to be one of those that are going through official development assistance. So there are all those avenues that you can also access climate finance. But broadly, as we talk about climate finance in the context of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, then we talk about now that's where the area of climate justice comes in, because we, for example, as Malawi being one of those least developed countries, but those that have also emitted less in terms of the greenhouse gases, we're not heavily responsible for taking action in terms of climate change. We are not very, very much obliged to take action, but since we are living in a global community, then we have also some form of obligation to actually do something in terms of managing climate change. So all those initiatives, the programs, the projects that even the young people are trying to develop would want to contribute something to management of climate change. But when it comes to support as a means of implementation of different initiatives that we are trying to promote as in form of climate action, then we have to realize that there are also the developed countries which have been labeled as perpetrators of climate change, they're supposed to support most of the initiatives that we are undertaking in the form of climate action, but in the developing world. So that's the context in which climate finance has been defined under the UNFCCC. So when you go to the framework itself, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, then there are also provisions that would actually enable developed countries to provide support to developing countries in terms of finances for them to attain the different goals that are setting in terms of achieving climate ambition. So you look at the UNFCCC Article 11, paragraph number para 1, which clearly outlines or sets up the financial mechanism under the UNFCCC, and also there are other, related articles within the UNFCCC that outlines the commitments by different developed countries to actually provide support in terms of climate finance to the developing world, to countries like Malawi. So you can actually go and then maybe browse through the article 11 and the paragraphs that falls under it. They will actually provide clearly what the obligations that are there from the developed country parties to support developing countries. So, but with that, the establishment of the financial mechanism under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change has two key operating entities. So I know most of you have already, one in one way or the other, the two operating entities that are there under the UNFCCC, the Green Climate Fund, which is a major climate fund, which is trying to support developing countries to develop programs and projects and implement climate action. So in a nutshell, we also have the GEF, which is also the second operating entity under the UNFCCC, but this operates 3 or 4 funds that we would also want to actually know about this. So we have the Special Climate Change Fund, which is out there, supports climate change actions in the developing countries. We have the Least Developed Countries Fund, and we also have the Adaptation Fund. All these funds I'm just mentioning to you as young people so that you can also appraise yourself on what establishments are there in terms of financial mechanisms at the international level. But I wanted to just zero in on what is there in terms of supporting climate action at domestic level. Thanks to the previous, the one that was presenting from the National Planning Commission, I think reminded us that the Agenda 2063 is also mentioning about climate change financing, which I hope from that presentation or from that ambition, then our government is going to learn that the actions that we are taking as young people, even as institutions in Malawi, would need to be supported in one way or the other through the domestic financing. So at the moment, we in Malawi, we have the budgetary support, which is supposed to go to the sectors that are dealing directly with the environment and natural resources management, which also anchors the area of climate change. But to say the least, this is one of the sectors that are least, financed by the government of Malawi. Less than 1% of the national, resources goes to this sector, and we have been, as civil society and other stakeholders, we've been always lobbying for increased funding to this sector. So the second one is the establishment of the Environment and Climate Change Management Fund. So these two funds they exist, but they lack operationalization mechanisms. So as we are also appraising ourselves and wanting to become more of the players in the sector, we should be able to realize that there are these funds that are also being set up, but they can also support climate action being undertaken by the young people and the other institutions. But the problem is that there's no funding, there's no resources that are going towards these funds. We have the issue of carbon levy, which has also been there to support environment and climate change related initiatives in the country. Just for you to know that the levy has been operating now for 2 to 3 years. But the challenge has always been that the resources that are being collected by the levy have always been channeled to other, general accounts being held by the government. So this has always limited our actions, has always limited us in terms of, advancing with climate action, because the resources are nowhere to be seen, and we don't even know how they are supporting us as a sector in terms of climate change management. So we also have initiatives that related to off-budget support. I think I already indicated at the beginning, my first slide, that there's also one mode which is off-budget and ODA, official development assistance, which is support that we get from our development partners, the bilateral donors that are there. This has always proved to be one of those key financing aspects, because when you see most of the programs that are being run in the country, including some of the government, implemented programs and projects, they always get much of their funding from the official development assistance, which is okay, but it's something that we need to also look at and critically analyze whether this is going to help us to realize the vision that has been presented to us. So I think from this, I would like to stop here. But if there are any questions in terms of how we can advance this agenda, but also related to climate financing in general, I think I'm available. I can take the questions. And I'm encouraging the young people to actually dig deep into this issue of climate finance, because minus that, then I think our efforts are always going to be worthless in a way, because as I mentioned in my first slide, climate finance is one of the means of implementation to all the actions that we want to undertake. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much for that, Julius. Can we now have Mr. Evans Njewa from the Environmental Affairs Department, who is also our guest of honor today?
Okay, thank you very much, Jinsisi. Yes, thank you very much, and good morning to you all, young leaders, but also my colleagues from government. I think the National Planning Commission is present in this meeting, so thank you very much. I'm sitting in for my director, Mr. Mbali Luka, who is tied up with some other government commitments. So I'm sitting in for her. For records purposes, I've put this on the chat because I heard in the opening remarks that you did recognize the presence of the Director of Environmental Affairs Department, who is not here, but I'm representing her. And thanks. What I wanted to do is to share my screen. You gave me 10 minutes. The slides need more than 10 minutes, but I will do them in just around 10 minutes or less. So allow me to share my screen. If I'm able to do that, where is my... Kinsisi, do we have the slides on the screen? No?
No, we have the launch meeting Zoom page, but we had it in the back. I can see it in the back.
You can see it in the back.
Yeah, so just minimize the browser.
I minimize the browser. Let me see if that's possible. Which one? Do you have it there? No?
It's loading. Okay, it's coming up. Apparently stuck. It's right there. It's about to get there. Evans, are you there? I think his connection is being a problem. We'll just give him a few minutes, a minute or two, just to get him back. Oh, scratch that. Everson's joining us now. Welcome back, Evans.
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, I got disconnected where I'm sitting. Hendricks, have you received my presentation or no?
Evans, not yet. Maybe it's coming.
Okay, it's on the way. It means so what I'll do is to what's happening here? Okay, what I'll do is to speak. I have too many windows opened. Okay, so but what has happened is that Malawi is getting prepared to participate at the COP26 in Glasgow this coming November. And we have put together a country position paper that will be used at the negotiations, but also, I'm not really sure if I'm speaking to someone or I'm speaking to myself.
We can hear you.
Am I online?
Yes, you are.
Ah, okay. I'm still looking for the attachment that I was sending. What's happening here? Too many things opened. Okay, so what I'm saying is that we have put up a draft country position paper, which we circulated, I think, to key stakeholders in the country. It should be 2 weeks ago.
Evans, I think I accidentally muted you and I was trying to mute the other person who was talking. So if you could kindly unmute yourself, please. Evans?
Hello, Chinsi?
Hello?
Oh, I thought I was still kicked out. I've sent the presentation to Hendricks so he can beam it. But what I was saying is that, so we're getting ready to participate at the incoming COP, and we have a draft country position, which I think we circulated even to you, to MaSP, around 2 weeks ago, soliciting comments and inputs into the country position. We have received a few comments, which we have incorporated in the document. Then we just, for a coordination, we did realize that this scope will be big, and we may need some support from a few key personnel and stakeholders to make Malawi fully participate at this scope. And so this is being set up. We, I think, have included MaSP representative in this team, but letters are yet to come on this. Can someone give me my screen? Why am I on a different screen? Chinsi? I'm still on the launch thing. Okay, and in the process, Malawi has been participating in several preparatory virtual meetings that are being conducted by the different regional groups, like the African group and the least developed countries group, feeding into the group of 77 and China. That is the biggest group of the in the negotiations, covering all developing countries. So we have been doing this virtually, and our minister, Honorable Nancy Tembo, Minister of Forest and Natural Resources, has been participating in a number of events with the UK ministers, considering that of course, the UK is hosting this COP, and also the Scottish government, but also the fact that Malawi is leading the United Nations grouping of the least developed countries in New York. So we have issues like the Life AR, if you have heard about it, and the UN Coalition on Adaptation and Climate Resilience. But also the head of state has been participating, His Excellency, the state president, has also been participating in several meetings that have been organized by the UN and other authorities. So in all these meetings, we have delivered our national statement, which highlights the key priorities that we want to see or achieve at the forthcoming COP26. And in the slides that I've shared, I've listed those priorities, and they include the finance issues, as Julius mentioned. There's the issue of adaptation. Would need to see support coming towards adaptation. The issue about loss and damage. How do we get support to towards loss and damage issues? We have agriculture. You know, Malawi is dependent on agriculture for its economy to survive, and the livelihoods of the people, and also their survival. So we have listed all these, including a few others, including gender and climate change, and the development and transfer of appropriate technologies. All these have been included in the presentation containing the priorities.
Sorry to interrupt you.
And I have freedom of the mentality out. Yes, I'm being confused here. It's like people, I'm seeing people that are blocking my my page. Yeah.
What page should I go to? just so I can catch up with you?
There's Timothy Muntali here on my screen. I don't know how he came in.
Timothy, please mute your mic.
And it's like you kicked me out because I'm still having the screen on the launch meeting.
I'm sharing the presentation.
Oh, you are? I'm not seeing it though, because
oh, you're not seeing my screen?
I'm stuck here on the launch meeting page, which is failing to go out, to go away.
I think look at the icons at the bottom of your screen. There should be two on the Zoom. One would be for the launch meeting and the other one would be your actual meeting.
Just to note, if you potentially do it from your PowerPoint and just tell CCYL what slide you're on, I can definitely see the slides and I think others can too. So we can follow along with you if you can't join via the Zoom.
Okay. What I should do is to okay. Sorry, I can't see the screen that you're sharing. Just give him 1 minute so that I log out and sign in again, if you allow.
All right, no problem.
Just a minute, yeah, so that I have a fresh screen.
Maybe until Evans comes back, would it be useful if I update from the UK about meetings I've been to currently on COP26 and preparations for Glasgow?
Yes, please. Please do that, Hannah.
Thank you. And yeah, good morning, everyone. Or good afternoon now, sorry. So yeah, as part of my role with 2050 Climate Group, I have been attending the UK government have been having sort of monthly meetings on COP26 and planning for green zone activities and trying to sort of come up with a program that would be possible from both an in-person
project yatu inayamba.
Sorry, so coming up with a program that would be possible both either in person or digitally. So I think the consensus amongst UK government is that COP will have a digital aspect this year, and at least aspects of green zone. People that are applying to have activities and side events are also trying to factor in digital participation. So hopefully this will include a lot more global participation from all over the world, and activities can be, you know, like this meeting, like put online in a way that people can participate and we can all learn and share from each other.
I'm back, yes, I'm back.
Excellent. Evans, I was just updating on the latest from the UK government on COP until you came back. So I will pass over to you.
So you can give me the floor once you're done. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass back to yourself and Chinsisi. Thank you everyone for letting me.
Okay, so can where?
Thank you, Hannah. I think we'll come back to you after Evan's presentation, just so you can finalize that. Evans, would you,
Yes,
can you share your screen now, or would you like me to share the screen for you?
No, you share from there.
Okay.
I'm having some difficulties with my laptop here, but you share from there, then I'll just quickly finalize on the slides.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
What page shall I go to?
Okay, so if I can spend 30 seconds on each slide, starting from slide number 2, this one. So this is obvious, the COP will be in Glasgow, and those are the dates. And for your information, the UK is hosting this COP in partnership with Italy on those days. Next slide. The purpose of the COP, the UK has set these 3 bullets as the purpose of this COP26. Of course, obviously, to accelerate action towards the goals of the Paris Agreement and the Convention, but also to demonstrate on the edges and the opportunities of the journey towards attaining a zero carbon economy, and also green and resilient recovery that promotes sustainable growth. And this we can tie it to the Vision 2063 that Jennifer presented. Next slide, sorry. There are 4 goals. They want this COP26 to be a step change in commitments to emission reduction. 2, to find a way of strengthening adaptation and climate resilience to address the climate change impacts that we are seeing, and getting finance flowing towards climate action, as Julius presented, and also enhancing international collaboration, of course, including on energy transition, clean road transport. There'll be a pre-COP in the next slide. Next slide. So before the COP itself in November, there are plans to have a pre-COP that will be hosted by Italy in Milan on these days, 30 September to 2 October, 3 weeks or so before the actual COP. And this is, we are hearing that it will be attended by around 40 countries that will be invited by the COP presidency. We're not very sure whether Malawi will be invited or not. We haven't received any news yet. Next slide. We'll have also, there's a youth conference that is being arranged to take place also in Milan, Italy, on 28 to 30 September by around approximately 400 young people. And this includes you as young leaders. Yes, your representatives may be there. If funding is available, and in the UN Youth Climate Summit that was held in New York in September 29 in the margins of the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly. So be prepared to participate on behalf of Malawi and the partnership if you can get some funding to be in Milan. Next slide. So where I stopped before the challenge that we got was that I was saying that Malawi has been, of course, participating in different meetings at various levels, at the technical level, but also at the ministerial level, and also including the head of state, the state presidency. So I've been in different meetings of the African group, and then the least developed countries group, the group of 77 and China, but also the UN at the UN setting, because the head of state has delivered, I think, 2 speeches or statements or so in December as we're celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Paris Agreement, but also as chair of the least developed countries at the United Nations. He has also delivered a number of keynote addresses to the international community. So we have been doing this. And as I said, we have a country position that we have shared with all key stakeholders in the country, in Malawi, for their consideration. And I also said that we have put up a team that will coordinate up from where we have reached that ourselves, and then we'll move from there. So I was saying that MaSP is one of those, and you'll be receiving your letter probably by next week. And regarding the priorities, so next slide. Next slide, yeah. Okay, the civil society's role, this, I'm not very sure whether MaSP is a civil society or you're an NGO, international or local, but we do invite you to contribute to the country's position when you go through it and give us your comments, but also be ready to participate at the COP26 itself if funding is available. Hopefully the Scottish government will be supporting you, and then proceed with the knowledge that you are getting. And from what we have seen in the video clips, in the documentaries, just continue with the preparing more project proposals, even the big ones, and then implement them so that we assist the people out there in our communities. So, and finally, if the last 3 slides talk about, that just listed our flagship areas at the COP26. I'll not take time to explain them all because they may take a bit of time, but when I stopped, I was talking about getting finance, good finance decisions, to easily access climate finance from the funds that Julius listed, so that we support climate action at the country level. We want to see adaptation decisions that will also give good climate resilience to our people, and also restoration of our degraded forests, ecosystems, water systems, etc. And this requires, of course, financing. Agriculture, we can't leave it out. There's always an agenda item at the COP, starting around, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. We are featuring agriculture in the COP agenda items, because we noted that agriculture is a cornerstone for most of the developing countries, especially in Africa. And then we need to make sure that our agriculture systems are not compromised by climate change impacts. People need food security and nutrition, and we need our livestock to be very productive as well. So this will feature highly, and we'll promote it at the COP. We have negotiators in the country who represent us in the agriculture agenda items, and also loss and damage associated with impacts of climate change. Once our households and people lose their property, infrastructure, crops, livestock due to impacts of climate change like floods, droughts, prolonged dry spells, we need someone to cover us, and therefore loss and damage also feature highly at the COP, and will be there as Malawi to also negotiate on that. The next slide. The next slide has technology development and transfer, because for us to implement any climate action, whether in mitigation or adaptation, you need the technology, of course, which is appropriate. Mitigation, Julius did indicate that our emissions are very low, and indeed they're very low as a country, but still we are doing some climate change action in terms of mitigation. We are planting trees to sequester carbon, and we're also promoting clean energy technologies like what we have seen in the video clips, in the documentaries, the use of briquettes and the planting trees, etc. And this would need the support from the international community, but also we need to have some flexibility in terms of how much we can achieve in mitigation, concerning that we have also our national circumstances and of course the priorities and the challenges, and this of course will bring it to the floor, on the floor, in tandem with our NDCs, national development contributions, that we are just about to finalize its revision. Obviously, we need capacity building support, because like what you are doing now in this meeting today and what you have been doing in the past is to capacity of the young people to continue lobbying for more support from the international community, bilateral donors, and the funds that we have here to give us the means of implementation for us to, of course, build our capacity, enhance our capacity to address climate change. And this includes project development, project design, writing of proposals, implementation, etc. of those projects. And always we have an agenda item that relates to the least developed countries, and Malawi is one of the LDCs, and we do talk about the least developed countries fund. Unfortunately, Julius did not list the LDCF, but I think has left the meeting. We need to include the least developed countries fund, which exists to support the implementation of our national adaptation programs of action and also national adaptation plans, including capacity building. So these are those key priority areas that we have featured in the country position, and will be promoting this at the COP26 in November in Glasgow. So I will leave here, I'll stop here and allow you, MaSP, to circulate the presentation to the members, the young leaders, and if there's a follow-up question that maybe cannot be asked in this meeting, you can give them my email address and my phone. They can contact me, and I'll give more elaboration on the preparations that we have and even the country position. Thank you, Jesus. Sorry for the hiccup that I experienced at the beginning. Sorry for that time that we lost. So back to you, Jesse.
Thank you very much, Evans. We're very excited for all the things that you presented, especially the invitations that MaSP have gotten to contribute on the paper, and that would have your backing to get on the Malawi team for COP26. That's very exciting. Thank you. The next thing that we would like to do is to award the young leaders who've been outstanding in the 3 years that the project has been happening. But before then, I think we've had so much and we need a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break. So sorry, we're running out of time, but I feel like we just need a little bit of time to just unwind, some 2 minutes. So in the meantime, we'll play you the climate change song that we did with Joe Kellz that I was talking about earlier, but I think this would be a good time for us to do that, just so we refresh our minds. And Tamini, do you have the song ready? And Tamini, please unmute your mic. Damini, the audio is very low. Maybe try increasing the volume from your laptop. Oh, I'm just getting audio that the song is not, I'm just getting feedback that the song is not audible anymore. I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Damini. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. We'll share the link in the chat. So when you have some time, you can go and listen to that song. That's the climate change song we did with Joe Kellz, and the title of the song is called Nyengo, which talks about preventing the young people taking action against climate change. The next item on our agenda is the awards. This year we wanted to do something a little different. It being the end of our phase one, we wanted to award the young leaders who have been outstanding in the 3 years that the project has been implementing. And we thought it would be a good idea for us to do this. Obviously, would have loved if we had a physical ceremony and all the young leaders that were being awarded to be there and to do this, to have everybody clap and cheer and whatnot. But since we can't, this is still good. So we have 5 categories, and the winners of those categories will receive 40,000 kwacha to go towards the implementation of their activities in their communities. As young leaders, we know that some of the challenges that we face is lack of resources, especially financial resources. And we know that a little bit goes a long way in the communities that we work with. We know that 40,000 kwacha is not so much, but it can go towards a meeting or two and provision of transport to go implement something or even to mobilize young people. So we hope you use this money, you use this award to sort of increase or help with your activities and do more in your communities. So I will present the nominees and under each category. And then after I've done that, I'll invite the guest of honor, Mr. Evans Njewa, to announce the winners. And then he'll congratulate them briefly. And then we'll do the rest accordingly. Let me just share my screen. So the award nominees are under Best Female Climate Leader, Best Male Climate Leader, and we also have the categories of innovation. So the young leader who was most innovative. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna stop sharing for a bit and find the right document. I'm sorry. It seems as if I saved the wrong one. I am very, very sorry about that. Let me just read out the nominees. So we have Best Female Young Leader, Best Male Young Leader. We have also the categories of innovation, advocacy, and participation. So the Best Female Young Leader is the overall young leader, those who've been outstanding in all the 3 years and have been very active and very instrumental in and very like they've been very active in their communities as well as the project. And they've also been sharing what they've done, but as well as also participated in other platforms to just get the climate message out there. For the most for innovation, we want to award the young leader who was most innovative, who was and forward thinking, and just basically trying out different things to contribute to climate change. We have advocacy, those who've done the most in terms of advocacy and climate change communication. And we also have a category under participation. This is the young leader who's been present, and they've contributed so much also to the ideas and to the implementation of activities that the young leaders have undertaken. So the Best Female Climate Leader nominations are Grace Nkangama, Brenda Mwale, and Joan Chintwenembe. In the category of Best Male Climate Leader, we have Chifundo Zingunde, we have Edward Nsisha, and we have Ronald Gondwe. In the category of innovation, we have David Samikwa, Henry Ngwira, and Luke Makuluni. On advocacy, we have Edward Nsisha, Maiwao Chitamba, and Chifundo Zingunde. In the category of participation, we have Crispin Jenje, Kelvin Chinguo, Joan Chigwenembe, and Torera Kamanga. I will now hand over to Evans Njewa to announce the winners in each category. Evans, are you there? Evans, are you still with us? Oh, it seems he's left. Probably because of his network issues. So, Hendricks, would you like to present together with Stella? Hendricks, would you like to step in and announce the winners?
Thank you, Chinsisi. On behalf of Malawi Scotland Partnership Management, given this opportunity to announce climate leaders who have emerged the winners. Per each category, we had a list of names that were nominated, but the overall winner, there is one per each category. I'll start with a climate leader who has been very participative to the work of climate change. And the winner is Joanne Chigwenembe. The overall winner on the advocacy is Mr. Chifundo Zingunde. On the category of innovation, the overall winner is David Samikwa. Now to the category of best climate leaders, starting with the male best climate leader. The name is Edward Musisya. In the category of best climate leader on female climate leaders, the overall winner is Brenda Mwale. So those are the names that were overall per each category. Over to you, Chances.
Thank you very much, Hendricks, and a big shout out and a big congratulations to the winners today. Brenda Mwale, Edward Nsisha, David Samikwa, Chifundo Zingunde, and Joanne Chigwenembe. Thank you for the work that you put in. Thank you for being present. Thank you for just being overall amazing young leaders, and the impact that you are making in your communities is evident. So I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing and strive to even do more. And I hope that the little that we're contributing today towards your project and your activities in your communities goes a long way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stella, would you like to say something?
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me, yeah? Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me take this opportunity to extend our thankfulness to the speakers and all the participants in here for your time and for your patience, for the contribution that you've made towards the project. We are grateful for that. We are thankful, and we call upon you guys to continue working with us so that we are able to deliver impactful projects on the ground, that we can scale up projects, that we can get best practices out of that. Thank you so much. And congratulations to all those who have come out as best participants, best winners. By doing that, we don't mean that the other young leaders did not do much, but we know that you've done a lot and you will continue doing that. I believe this marks the end of our program today, but to us, it's the beginning of the start, because we are also organizing another event on the ground to ensure that government officials, stakeholders, and everyone else see how we are applying the technologies that we have equipped our youth in the communities. Thank you so much for your time once again.
Thank you very much.
Over to you. Thank you, yeah.
And now this brings us to the end of our program, but before that, would like to hear from Solomon Linda, who is with the National NICOM, National Youth Council of Malawi, and who is also
before Solomon.
All right, go on.
Yes, Evans back. I'm very, very sorry. I'm not very sure what's happening with me today. It's terrible, and please accept my sincere apologies for what has happened. I lost everything, my computer's power and then my mobile phone's power also at the same time, just when I spoke. So I was trying to get them charged so that I come back to you. And thanks to Hendricks for covering me up for on the awards. But I do congratulate all the 5 recipients on behalf of the ministry and on behalf of my director. Please proceed with the climate action and aim higher. The sky is the limit. We are available to give you all the support that you require. As Julius indicated, if we can connect with you to another possible partners within the country, but also outside the country, those that we may know, please feel free to knock on our doors and we will be able to give you the support. But once again, thanks to all the recipients of the awards, and also thanks to the Scottish government for the support they are giving. And I've seen the 2050 climate group. Thanks all of you, and again the MaSP team, congratulations for the good work that you are doing. My apologies once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Evans. And the issue with the connection is really a problem, especially today somehow, but we're managing to push through. And thank you for keep coming back, despite all the difficulties that you're having. We really appreciate that. And now to move to the closing remarks by the representative of the National Youth Council of Malawi, which is also the organization chairing the steering committee of this project, Solomon Linda.
Thank you very much, moderator. I would like to recognize the presence of everyone here. My fellow steering committee members, I will not go through the list to mention you all, but I do recognize your presence. I also recognize the presence of our colleagues from the National Planning Commission and the Environmental Affairs Department, and of course everyone else. I really would like to say that this has been a very, very, very good program. A program, of course, in terms of the event that we are having today, but also in terms of the project that we have been implementing over the past 3 years. I will say, I'm saying we have been implementing because my fellow steering committee members would agree with me. The Secretariat at the Malawi-Scotland Partnership has done all it can to make sure that we have moved together in the implementation of these projects over the 3 years. And this is not something that we take for granted or took for granted as a steering committee. It has demonstrated that indeed this was a collaborative and participatory effort that brought together us as a steering committee from various stakeholder institutions, the Malawi-Scotland Partnership as Secretariat, of course, with the 2050 Climate Group, and also the various young leaders that have done tremendous work on the ground. We have noted as National Youth Council, but of course also as a steering committee, that there has been demonstrable growth amongst the climate change young leaders that have participated in this program. Hearing the names that have won in the different categories, we could actually see that this indeed is a representation, a reflection of the level of participation or the level of engagement that has been there in the various areas in which these young leaders have won. We have also noted, of course, that through the presentations that have been made today, speeches from different stakeholders, it would seem like there are opportunities for synergies between the work that has been done or the presence of the young leaders and, of course, the national development plans that are in place. And our hope really as a steering committee and also, of course, as the chairing organization as National Youth Council is that young people will not see this as the end of their engagement, but will use the lessons that have been learned in this project to actually make much greater impact under the guidance of the development plans, the development agenda that Malawi has laid for herself over the next couple of decades. May we continue to make the necessary impact on the ground. May we continue to influence other youth so that they also continue to participate in bringing the desired change, the change that we ourselves have been fighting for and have been working toward. I would like to thank you all for making yourselves available to this meeting. It has been about 2.5, well, close to 3 hours actually, that we have been together here, and this demonstrates a high level of commitment, not just to the meeting, but also to the nature of the work that is before us, to make an impact in terms of promoting sustainability in the various circles that we work in. May God bless you all, and may He bless your the work that you continue to do. This project be not the end, but the beginning of a far greater collaboration between the different stakeholders that have participated in this project in various ways. Thank you so much, everyone. And I, on behalf of the steering committee and on behalf of the council, I would like to wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Over to you, Jessis.
Thank you very much for that, Solomon. And since we've already run way past time, I'd like to invite Lisa to close with a word of prayer. Lisa, are you still here? She's not here. Like someone has a mic on. Dora, would you mind closing again with the prayer, just because you're the one with the mic on?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come again unto you to thank you for the meeting that we have had. It is our prayer, oh God, that next meetings like this in the future will be done. Thank you, God, for the people who have made it. We congratulate them, oh Lord. May you give them the more knowledge and skills and capabilities to continue performing the good will. Father God, we ask you to be with us as we'll be continuing our day to day. We pray all this for your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Tora. And this marks the end of our event. Yes, thank you, as the chair said, thank you all for attending. Thank you all for being here. And you're now free to leave and sign off.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Kondan. Coco, how are you?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. And how are you, madam?
How are things?
Good, good.
Ah, okay. That's great. Eh? We miss you.
I miss you
Why are you
too.
laughing? I'm saying the truth, yeah?
I miss you too.
Ah. You can't even call us, yeah?
No, I'll call you. By the way, Jinsi, send me my presentations as for the journalists.
Okay, I haven't gotten them yet. I have Yan Jewa. Let me ask NPC. Okay. All right. So let me
break it. Madam, do we be done? Did I'll call you?
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for putting this all, for making it all happen. I'm sorry, leave now.
Well done, Hendricks. Well done, CCYL. All the organizers. I think it was a good function. We actually it has been good. It wasn't boring. It was touching, and we managed to participate in the whole 2 hours. You could see that none of the members left, so it was a good function. Let's reorganize ourselves to see what next activity we can do as part of the celebratory events. But on my behalf, and I think this was great. This was a great event that I don't know, Hendricks. Hendricks, are you there?
Yes, I'm in.
That was I don't know. Do we still have the other function in the evening or?
Yeah, that's why I was checking